And go.
So how's everyone?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, and welcome to the Chaos Friday night stream for 1/1/2019. So we got a lot of ones up in there tonight. Um, Basically, so that makes this like a first place stream having all those ones, and we have a first place panel with us tonight, as always. This might be one of those nights where we start off with a small panel, and then by the end of the night we got a full panel, or it might be one of those nights where we start off small and finish small. So who knows? That's why we call it chaos. So anyway, enough of my rambling because you'll be hearing that all night. Let's get on to it without any further ado. We're going to be starting off for those of you if this is the first time you're watching the stream. It's really simple. What appears on my screen, what I see, is not the same as what you see on your screen. So I'm going to be reading off the names of the panel as I see them. So please pay attention if you don't know who these folks are. You're going to learn who they are right now. And I suggest you subscribe to all of them because they're great people if you're not already subscribed. So I'm going to be starting off with a really, really nice guy, great friend of mine. He looks as adorable as he sounds. Just to let you guys know, he really is. He's a sweetheart of a kid. Kelt, how are you?
I'm okay.
Good, good. Anything interesting happened to you today?
Calling my brother a sweetheart, that's hysterical.
I like your brother. He's a good kid. He really is. I mean that too. Yeah.
Nothing special happened today.
Oh, good. I say good because usually when special shit happens around here, it's usually a bad thing. So glad it was uneventful. And next, of course, we have with us Sarah Hatcherby Sanders. Sarah, how are you?
I'm good. I was waiting to see if you would say it, Scooby.
I know that they were all waiting for it with bated breath. That's the reason I specifically avoided it.
Oh man, I was wanting you to say it because I just want to hear you say it.
Oh, what? Because of my accent? Yeah. Queenie the TikToker.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. Because I dropped my R's.
I'm good. Oh, I'm good. How are you?
All right. Feeling a little bit better now. I am completely beat. I've had the worst headache for the past few hours. So tonight, if I seem subdued, it's because I am. I don't know what it is. I guess it's because I said it last night when we were streaming. The past month solid, since I'd say December 15th, I have been having 6-day, 7-day weeks where I've been going from, like literally before sunrise till I've been pulling about a good 16-hour days every day, easily. And it's just really tiring. And it takes a toll on you. It does. And I think that today I finally hit the wall physically. And yeah. So if tonight, if anything, if it seems like it's really, really slow moving, I apologize. I'm just working working off of fumes here. But what about you, Sarah? Has anything eventful happened in your day at all?
No, not really. Same shit, different day.
Well, that's good. Again, it's when shit gets interesting is when shit gets annoying. So
Yep.
I'm glad it was a boring day for you then.
Yeah.
And last but not least, of at least who's with us on the panel thus far, we have with us wearing her Scooby suit. We have Tara Sin.
God, you made me a fucking furry, a Disney furry cat.
Well, it looks good on you. It really does. So
hold on, Scoop. What's that phrase you use when Patches starts like chewing on a blanket?
Oh, when he nushes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because that's my jacket.
Well, I guess that your jacket is now his nushy. That's what he uses to nush. I'm not sure where that came from. I'm not sure if that's something with the Jews or with the Italians, but I've heard that my entire life. Nush.
Is that your nushy? He's wagging his tail.
See, dogs love that. You have no idea. Like Patches gets so hyper and happy. Like if he I feel bad because I'll hear him go like, and his tail will start going really fast because he can't like get any more happy, and he's trying to. He gets all frustrated, and he runs over and he grabs his blanket. That's why my nickname for him is the happiness, because you can't be sad around that dog. You know, it just ah.
Aw, Cody. He's so cute. Aw, I love dogs.
Yeah, same here. Oh, what a cute dog.
Aw.
Yeah, Tara, present him. I'd be perfectly cool with this if you just presented the dog for the entire stream. But seriously, I'm a dog lover myself. Patches is a soft rescue. I think I've told you before.
What's a
It's not,
soft rescue?
that's what I'm about to say. A soft rescue is where the dog isn't abused. It's just the owners are idiots. Like what had happened was this guy calls me up, and him and his wife were breeding dogs, and his wife left him. And when his wife had left him, he was in lockup, and he came home to a litter of puppies. So he calls me up. He's like, "Yo, Scooby, um, I got all these puppies, and they're shitting all over my house. I don't know what to do. Can you come help me?" So I go over his house, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. They keep eating and shitting everywhere, and I'm looking. I'm like, well, moron, they're newborns. You can't keep feeding them solid food. You got to bottle feed them. That's the reason they're shitting everywhere. Like he was freaking out because he had all these puppies running all over the house, crapping all over the place. And that's how I got Patches. I got Patches actually the day after he opened his eyes for the first time. He came home, and he had no teeth at that point, and he was small enough where he would fall asleep and his chin would hang just over the tip of my index finger, because he the first day I brought him home, he was small enough to fit into my palm. And the first week he was home, he wouldn't sleep in his dog bed, he would sleep in my shoe. And he was the most adorable little thing. I thought he was going to be pocket sized forever. And yeah, he's a soft rescue, Patches. And the other dog, all the dogs we have are usually soft rescues. We bring them home from shelters. Usually we get dogs that what happened was, like, one dog we had a couple of years ago was a German Shepherd, and what happened was the people who had the dog were just old and dropped dead. So they found the dog walking around the neighborhood eating out of garbage cans. So we got that dog. The one we got right now is a Chihuahua. Same thing. The family had the dog, and the family got deported because of ICE. So we had a little bit of trouble with the dog because the dog only spoke Spanish.
Peach's cousins got deported.
Yeah, right. It's funny because she only looks it. She's the same mix as me, but she definitely, yeah. It's funny because I'll take her places, and I told you people come up to her and start talking Spanish to her all the time.
Who's your good puppy? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I'm making you famous. Yes, I am. Yeah, you're on the computer. Oh, so today I was watching Hope for Paws, and there was this one where this dog was being very aggressive. It had a crushed paw or a crushed leg, so it was barking really, really mean. And Cody, his ears perk up, and then he forces himself onto my lap to protect me from the other dog.
Aww.
That's so cool.
I commented on the video explaining what had happened. I was like, so whatever that dog was saying, barking wise, it wasn't good.
Well, I'm glad he protected you.
Even if it was from a puppy on the computer, huh? Yeah. Say hi, everyone.
So I want to hear about this vacation more. I am curious.
What vacation?
Yours.
Oh, you mean me going to Chicago to visit Burnside?
Mm-hmm.
What about it? It's a vacation for me away from here.
Well, let me live vicarious through you, and let the audience experience it also. What have you done so far? You got stuff taken care of, or
I don't know if the brother wants to know what she's gonna do.
He says, as for brother, I don't want to know what she's going to do.
She's gonna have lots and lots of hot sex.
Yeah, that's one. Well, Burnside's going to take me to the site of the Valentine's Day massacre. On Valentine's Day.
that's romantic.
It's me. I'm all for it.
If it wasn't for the fact that my wife was such a stick in the mud, I'd try to get her to, pony up and we go out to Chi-Town to visit you. It's going to be, what year are we in? 2019? It's going to be 17 years, me and her together.
Wow.
So, yeah, long time. Crazy, huh?
Yep.
Time really does fly, when you think about it in those terms. But
And let's see, he's going to take me to, I think he called it Pudgy's, for a real Chicago deep dish pizza.
cool.
And I've already warned him all my pizzas have to be vegetarian, no tomato, replace it with banana pepper. And that's because I've worked in the pizza industry.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked at Little Caesars, I've worked at 5 Star, and I've worked at Pizza Hut.
Oh, okay.
So I worked in a few. And I actually worked in a mom and pop shop too.
Let me see, the ones I worked in, my family owned one for a few years. Oh God, what was the name of it?
Well, while you're thinking of the name, what ended up happening is most of their meats they got in, like the beef and the pork or sausage, came in, and it didn't look as, like freshly browned meat in a pan. No, it comes in looking like moist dog kibble.
Ooh.
That sounds just nasty.
Exactly. So I literally can't bring myself to eat like any pizza with sausage or what they call beef on it. I can't.
Right.
And so, like, what the hell are you, vegan? Like, communist? I was like, no, let me explain. And I explained that to him. He goes, oh, okay, so it's because you worked in the industry, you know what's on the food, you don't want to eat it. Yes, exactly. Okay.
Well,
First saying that you're not a vegan, you have told them when you met them.
What? I seriously did not just hear my brother.
I said the first sign that you're not a vegan, you would have told them when you met them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a vegan, so like, animals have feelings, but plants don't. No, even though you have scientific proof that plants can feel electrical pain, it's not true.
the fucking vegans. I'm not even going to go into it with them. When I was younger, I worked at a few different pizzerias.
Why are you nudging my coat?
He loves your coat. He loves you. That's the thing. It's the coat has your scent on it, and he's nushing your scent. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I won't let him niche my blanket.
If a vegan woman swallows, is she still a vegan?
What?
That is true. That is a good question. I think that you could probably combat that situation by drinking a lot of wheatgrass juice beforehand.
Is that cannibalism?
I don't know.
It should be considered cannibalism. I know it's considered in either a fluid ounce or an injection of potassium.
I wonder. I know if you eat eggs, you're oviparous. I wonder what it is when you ingest spermaceti. I could make a very, very raunchy joke at the expense of people, but I don't want to start any more drama, so I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Herbivorous?
Possibly. I'd have to look into it. I have no idea, but that is actually a good question because you could probably sell shirts like that down in the village and people would buy them.
Here you go, Scooby. He's starting to nush again.
Oh, cool!
It'd be a great velociraptor meme.
He's just laying there with it in his mouth.
Yeah, that's exactly what Patches does. He nushes. I think that might actually be a Yiddish idiom. Now I'm thinking about it, like nush, because, but then again, um, the Italian word for like being annoying, is scutch, but that's actually an abbreviation for scutcherel. So, that's actually what it means to be like a little annoying pain in the ass is scutcherel. So. I don't know. Maybe no. I don't. I've never heard any. I never heard it as like an abbreviation for anything. Nush. So. Hey, what's going on, bro?
Oh, not much.
You're a little low.
Let me see if I can fix that.
All right.
Where the fuck is it? Correct.
We were just watching the dog here enjoy life. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I can
just
see that.
he's just having a ball with his blanket, just loving life.
It's not a blanket. It's my fucking coat.
Oh, all right. I
Yeah,
thought
I
that he.
recognize it.
I thought he had like a leopard skin rug and he was going to town on it.
No, that's my coat.
Wow.
I got it at an estate sale for $10. I've seen these things, and it's faux fur.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen these things for sale for like $150.
Does it come with the matching cowboy hat and go-go boots?
No, but it came with a pair of earmuffs.
Nice. How's the volume now?
Much better.
Much better.
Okay.
Are you gonna go to sleep now, Cody?
Absolutely. That
That is adorable.
Are you enjoying chewing on my jacket?
Give him a big
I
beef
have to
bone.
wash it now because it's gonna have Cody slime all over it.
He's like, I don't care.
Oh no, he climbs up on the couch with me to sleep.
He's like, I don't care. You can deal with my Cody slime.
Oh God, I do love dogs. You can't not love them. They're the
I know,
best.
right?
Yeah.
I know, right? They do so much funny shit.
Stop! You're on camera.
Ain't nobody
Good boy. Go to town. That's great.
Licking his ass.
Come on.
What an awesome dog.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate. I've had a bunch of them over the course of my life. When I was a kid, we had shepherds. And then when I got a little bit older, my one sister, she's a little bit insane. I've always been into rescuing dogs, but my sister was crazy. She would go and she'd like look to see if she could find dogs that were being abused, and she'd go into the yard and steal the dog.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I had a lot of stolen dogs when I was a kid.
This is him wanting to love.
Yeah. You'll like this, Scoop. So right now in this house, there are 3 shepherds and 1 husky.
Oh, cool.
Yes. And the husky is completely insane.
Yeah, it eats headsets.
They all eat headsets. This is my 3rd one this month.
You can't use my fucking blanket, you little shit.
This is my 3rd one this month.
Oh, that sucks. Ugh.
Hey,
Miss this.
and the cat colludes with them. I'll put it on a freaking bookshelf. The cat will knock it down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's that? There you go.
The The cat
Instead-
colludes with them. I mean, it's like they plan it out. Like, you son of a bitch. You fucker.
I gave him my hoodie to niche on because it needs to be washed anyway. And he grabs my fucking blanket.
He's like, no, mine.
That's great.
You
God
know,
bless that dog.
I've let him, like sleep on the throw that my aunt made for me. It's got a bunch of Scotties and stuff like that on it because I'm a dog lover. She's a cat lover. So I've let him sleep on that. I've tried to get him to niche that. No, he goes after my fucking blanket.
I just love how fast you picked up that word, too.
It works.
It does, doesn't it? Pretty soon I'm going to have you saying schlep when you start dragging shit around the house. Like, I had to schlep this into the living room from the dining room. I'll have you using all sorts of cool Yankee words. You're going to get disowned by the South.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
I already used the word shyster.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It's when you start referring to people that, like, oh, yeah, I got to give this guy money. Like, I borrowed money off of him. He's a regular Shylock. When you start saying things like that as part of your regular speech, yeah, you're doomed.
No. I'd forget and accidentally call him Sherlock, and that's an insult to Holmes.
Yeah, just call him Watson.
By the way, on my channel, I got a subscription, or somebody subscribed by the name of Alistair Mycroft.
Oh, cool.
And I'm just like, okay, both of them are names of detectives. Well, Mycroft is Sherlock Holmes' brother.
Yep.
And in the books, Mycroft actually works for, like, the Queen's secret police.
Yeah.
In the modern series that's on BBC, which is fucking great, it has Benedict Cumberbatch. He works for MI6.
Yeah.
James Bond. I had to. I love James Bond.
I just can't remember where Alistair's from, but I know Alistair is a detective.
I figured it was just Aleister Crowley.
That's what I was thinking.
That's the first thing that came to my head.
It's
Yeah,
possible.
Aleister Crowley.
Yeah. And Crowley was, oh God, what title couldn't you hang on the man? Apothecary. He was a pharmacologist. He was a theologist. He was an anthropologist. There's so many different titles you could put on the man. Journalist is one of them. But you could definitely say detective, because part of what being all of those things entails is you have to go and search and dig. And Crowley did find a lot of arcane knowledge.
He was an occultist, a ceremonial magician, a poet, a painter, a novelist, and a mountaineer. He founded the religion of Thelema, identifying himself as the prophet entrusted with guiding humanity into the Aeon of Horus in the early 20th century.
Right.
He also said to have been the first person to create a philosopher's stone.
In modern times, I mean, there are in the historical record, there's supposedly people that have done it. I mean, I heard talk about Pliny the Elder. I thought he accomplished it, or at least had spoken to people who accomplished it. I don't remember. It's been years since I read the books.
When I think of Philosopher's Stone, I think of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah, exactly where it came from.
Either Full Metal
Played a
Alchemist.
game years ago where you're guided by a homunculus to try and prevent your death.
Wasn't Crowley also a member of the Golden Order of the Hermetic Dawn? The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, excuse me.
Yes,
I said that
he
backwards.
in 1898 he joined the esoteric Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, where he was trained in ceremonial magic by Samuel Liddell MacGregor Mathers and Alan Bennett.
Yeah, I have a bunch of their books. I have his books around here somewhere too. I was very, very big into that shit in the turn of the century. I think everyone is. It seems to be like a reoccurring theme through history. Whenever you get to the point where a century is going to turn, everyone gets involved with magic.
Well,
I didn't.
And also, he announcing the start of the Aeon of Horus. Horus Ra is the all-seeing eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Memes of Destruction says they miss the game Pog. It was a game early 90s. Scooby, I know you remember Pogs.
I do. I used to have those.
I still do. I have the Collector's United States edition.
I was going to say, I actually have the Batman Nightfall Pogs.
My dad still has my Slammers.
I got the Slammers around here, too. I know that they got to be around here somewhere. I don't tend to throw things out like that. We were actually talking about Pogs. Oh, God, when was it? Who was I talking to this about? I was talking to somebody about it a few years ago. And I was explaining it to them, and they're like, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard of. I'm like, look, it was the 90s. I said a couple of Hawaiian kids invented this shit in school using milk caps. I said, and it was the biggest thing. I said, do you remember when you guys, because this kid, I think he was one of these millennials. I said to him, you remember when you guys were walking around with those stupid rubber bands that were the silhouettes of your favorite comic book characters? They didn't even look like anything. They were just an outline. He's like, oh, yeah. I said, yeah, it was stupid like that. It was just a novelty. I remember Pogs, so. You got to realize Pogs came out. You know what actually killed Pogs off? Magic the Gathering.
Yep.
Yeah.
That and Battletops.
Battletops may be more for the younger kids. Like, Magic the Gathering came out at exactly the same time, unfortunately for me. Magic the Gathering came out at the same time that the girls started developing breasts. So, yeah,
right up until you start buying Battletops in quantity and start putting firecrackers on them.
Yeah.
Well, Battletops has given way to Beyblades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a bunch of Beyblades, and I just put a firecracker on them, light it, and
yeah. Well, this kid here,
crank it off.
The 5-year-old was bought 4 of them. 2 before Christmas, 2 for Christmas. Guess what? He's lost them all.
Mine get blown up. Mine get destroyed.
There was. Or did you give them to a friend at daycare?
I had.
He lost them at the daycare.
Oh my God.
Probably in one of the ball pits.
Yeah, probably.
There was a guy I knew, and he used to hang out years ago. You made me think of this. And the guy's name, they used to call this guy Skeezix. Off the character from Gasoline Alley. He actually had the tattoo of this guy on his arm for some reason. This guy was a bit of a fucking weirdo. And Skeezix worked at this guy Screw's body shop. I think this was out right in the industrial park area, Red Hook in Brooklyn. And Screws, basically, from what I understand, now I'm going back years. I never seen anything happen in front of me, and this is like 20-something years ago. I was a teenager at the time. But Screws had the shop, and this fucking lunatic Skeezix, he'd be out back. I guess he was like one of his body guys, and he was really good at what he would do. And Skeezix would be out in the back, and he'd have those fucking battle tops. And I'll never forget this. He used to be out there, and I think that Skeezix was a crackhead. But he'd be out back, and he'd have a 25 caliber pistol, and he'd be shooting at the battle tops. And the reason it stuck out in my head is because this guy always was out back, and for whatever reason, he was wearing an M1 helmet with the netting on it.
Wolfie, you're aware we're live, right?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Wolfie, what's happening, brother?
Hey, Wolfie.
Nothing much.
Yeah, we were just talking about, do you remember Pogs?
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking about them in battle tops.
Yeah, then we kind of devolved into destroying them. Watching people destroy them.
Helped later.
He had a fucking 25 caliber pistol and he was shooting at these things.
Yeah. Oh,
How
yeah.
accurate was he?
That's why I said I think the guy was a crackhead, because he was sitting there trembling like like someone was after him, and he was missing a lot of the shots. was fun to watch. You know, we were sitting in there. I forget why the hell we were out there. I think what it was, for whatever reason, Screws had got in his hands on some, like, a big shipment of dynamite. Dynamite is what you use to soundproof a car when you put a stereo system in it.
Yeah.
And one of my friends he had dealings with Screws, so we went out to his shop, and I'm in there, and all of a sudden I hear, that this noise, and I go out there, and this lunatic is, sitting up on top of one of the dumpsters, and he's plinking down on these fucking battle tops that he's got spinning around down there. And they got in their hands on a thing of battle tops, and he had the guy Javier. I can't believe I remember these guys' names. It's crystal clear. But he had Javier winding up the tops, or however the hell you do it with the battle tops. It's been years since I've seen those things. And he's just sitting there shooting them like it was nothing. But this was Brooklyn back in the day. This is before all the liberals started moving there from the rest of the country. You could actually shoot at things without people, like going all up in arms.
Yeah.
Oh man!
Wow! When you could actually do dumb shit like that.
Yeah. Wow.
See, I could still do dumb shit like that because I'm not living in the city.
Yeah. You just reminded me of something else too that I wanted to talk about. Thank you. By the way, this is actually something important. They just announced it on the news today. I might be moving out of New York because of the announcement that was on the news today.
Are they going to build a wall around New York?
I want them to now because of what happened. I'm watching the news and they're all smiling on the local news.
He's in the chat.
Hey, what's going on? So,
the borders in New York?
What they did is they said it on the news today. They said this is the first time in X amount of years that New York State has a majority Democratic Senate, a majority Democratic House, and it has Democratic senators, and it has a Democratic governor. So now, instead of election day, you're going to get 2 weeks.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so you're royally fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. And Cuomo has already made it where you don't have to be a citizen to vote. And
oh, God damn it. What's the point of being a citizen then?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to probably be getting out of here very soon. That sucks. I don't want to leave. This is my home. I mean...
Well, you want someplace like New York, come with me to Chicago.
You know what would be great? If a bunch of Russians were voting in there.
Yeah, seriously. That would be real. Well, they probably are. I don't know. We'll have to see. This is the thing, and I've said this before. I'm not really too familiar with the Russians themselves and their dealings because they're kind of scary. But from what I know from my experience with other quote-unquote connected people, you're really hard-pressed to find a Republican amongst them. So, like, this is the thing. You will never find a Teamster or an organized crime member, for that matter, who is not a Democrat. They're just all Democrats. It's actually scary when I think about it. Every person I know that could probably kill somebody. Like, they'll say, oh yeah, everyone's capable of murder. No, I mean like cold-blooded, like snap your neck and go back to the newspaper while you're sitting there with your head sideways. You know?
Stop talking about fantasies.
No, I'm saying, but everyone I know who is capable of that voted for Hillary.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Bless their heart.
Well, think about that. These are all, like, I'm talking every seasoned thug. Well, not every one of them. There's a few that I know around the neighborhood who were insane that voted for Trump, but it's kind of part of their mania. But, you know what I'm saying? And now they're going to turn my entire state. Oh, my God. You think California's bad? No. Watch what's going to happen to my state. Because I don't know if you guys are aware of this. And they actually said it on the news, which I was appalled when they said it. They said, well, the reason the Republicans have been fighting this for years is because New York is a majority Republican state. And I'm looking at them on the news, and my jaw was hanging. I'm like, Are you insane? You're outnumbered in this state by, I don't know, 5-1 with Republicans. Most people don't know that about New York State, but then I realized, I'm like, my God, all the illegals. That's what they're talking about when they say we're outnumbered.
New York's new name is going to be Commie York.
Yeah. Well, I feel really bad because a lot of people don't realize New York and Vermont were both two of the reddest states. And these rich liberal bastards, they all... What they did to Vermont, I'll never forget it. When I was in college, my sister came to me and she goes like this, hey, a bunch of my friends are all moving up into Vermont and buying houses. Are you interested in going up there and getting a house? Because I'm thinking of buying houses and flipping them. And I look at her, I go, your friends are all gay actors and actresses from Manhattan. Why in the fuck would I want to go live with these people? I said, they're a bunch of bourgeois assholes. And I didn't realize that what they did was Vermont was the lowest populated state up until these people moved up and literally doubled the population. And it was a center right state, and they took it far left. Vermont was the first state for gay marriage and for everything else. It was always Vermont is the first state, because what it is they'll own houses in Vermont, but they live in New York. They're all New Yorkers. And they go up there in the winter to go snowboarding and skiing and do all that annoying shit that they do up there in Killington. And basically they destroyed the state. And the problem with my state is now everyone's moved here from all over the country. Like, the reason all of your states are thriving and, you know, you have good communities is because all of your filth moved either north or east and came here. Like, that's what I think about. The people that you went to high school with, there was always that one girl that she had a look on her face like somebody pissed in her coffee. And you know that and she was successful. She was like good in math. She was good in English. She was the one that was going to go to school for business. And where is this girl? She's not in your neighborhood anymore. She moved to Manhattan.
Actually, she's still here, and I still have to deal with her on a daily basis, and she's still a fucking cunt.
Well, why'd you marry her?
Oh, I didn't marry her. I just have to see her every day because I go to the square every day to get a cup of fucking coffee.
Go to a new place to get a new cup of coffee.
Yeah, seriously.
Every other place tastes like diesel fuel. Like, literally, it tastes like diesel fuel.
Speaking of coffee, I was watching Tim Pool had cut a video earlier. I watched it for a few minutes. I think I had mentioned that to you guys before on the air once or twice. I don't know how, but I must know this guy somehow because we have mutual friends here in New York. And I did do journalism for a while for newspaper about, 15 years ago now. So I think I may have met him at a mixer or something. To be honest, he might not have had that hat on at the time, so I'm probably why I'm not remembering him. But anyway, he was doing a video about Starbucks. And you see that with the new open bathroom policy? Now they have to put syringe dispensers, special trash receptacles for used needles in the Starbucks bathroom.
And antivirals.
Yeah.
Yeah, hazardous material dispenser.
Yeah,
receptacles.
Basically what's her in
always
doctor's
out of
office.
order.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much.
They have to have the trash can for heroin users?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
the hazardous things that they have in the doctor's office.
What had happened was a couple of months ago in Philadelphia, I forget what they were. They were some sort of business people. I forget what the hell they were doing. They just both happened to be black, and they went into this Philly place. And granted, it is expensive for their coffee, but don't be cheap. They were waiting for their business people that they were supposed to be meeting for the meeting that they went there for, and the guys were running late, so they didn't order the coffee because they wanted to wait till they were there because they didn't. And I understand also they didn't want to have like 2-3 cups of coffee while they're waiting for these guys and then be hyped out of their minds like lunatics when they're talking to them. So While they were waiting, the one guy asked and said, "Can I use the bathroom? You know, while I'm waiting?" And he said, "No, you got to buy something first," which is legit. I've been told that myself. These guys made it into a federal case because they were black. And lo and behold, what Starbucks did, because Starbucks just couldn't resist, they just declared publicly, well, we now have an open bathroom policy. It doesn't matter if you're a customer. You can come in and use our bathrooms. Unfortunately for Starbucks, they're in mostly leftist cities, including this one. So, wild guess what started flocking to Starbucks. You had... yeah, you had not just the heroin users. It gets even better. Anyone familiar with the term of a jackass bath?
No.
No.
Vaguely familiar.
A jackass's bath is where you go into a bathroom and you strip naked and you wash yourself in the sink using rags.
Oh, a whore bath.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
Yeah, that's how I know it.
Yeah. That's now what Starbucks is. It's the local it's the local bathing house. So, yeah, which actually I'm all for this because now it cleans out the bus stations and the train stations so nicely. And the left gets to deal with what the working class people get to deal with for a change. So it's nice that they get to, with their Kenny G albums and their, chocolate covered coffee beans and those annoying little fucking raspberry finger sandwiches. What the hell are those things that they charge?
Those things are fucking tasty. Shut up.
Whatever. I'm just saying, now they get to deal with it, these bourgeois assholes. Good. I feel bad for the young kids who work there who have no experience in life because, that's the only ones I feel bad for. Like a lot of these young millennials, I try to have an open mind and, you try to not be too hard-hearted towards them. But at the same time, when they go out and they rant and rave and yell in the street and dress like ninjas, burn the flag and assault poor defenseless garbage cans, it annoys me, So, but that's the newest thing going on with Starbucks is, yeah.
You don't know what that garbage can did to me last night. It was fucking horrendous.
What?
I said, you don't know what that garbage can did to me last night. It was fucking horrendous.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm gonna probably
try to sexually assault you.
Yeah.
Dude, it tried to take that styrofoam and shove it in places that don't belong.
This actually reminds me really quick of one of the things that I put in for tonight.
Toilet paper roll fucking hurt.
What?
I said that toilet paper roll fucking hurt.
Didn't even use lube, huh?
Nah. Not when all, when people scrape out what's left of the mayonnaise in the jar and the jar is thrown away, that doesn't work. It's not a good lube.
That's why you need butter. Forget the KOA jelly. For giving birth, use butter. Add butter. For lube for anal probing, add butter. For toast, add butter. Everything goes well with butter.
No, we recycle here. Our butter containers turn into our Tupperware.
Mm-hmm.
It's cheaper.
It is.
And it works.
It does.
And most of the lids are interchangeable.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Before I forget, I wanted to mention to all of you because this is something important. This August coming up, this is why I'm mentioning this now. There's going to be the 50th anniversary of Woodstock in upstate New York. I'm going to be attending as a journalist and covering the thing. Any of you guys interested in coming with?
No.
I highly doubt Burnside and I will have the money.
I'm too broke to pay attention.
And I just don't give a flying fuck.
Pretty sure it's going to be free.
But
I'm talking about travel expense.
Well, that's the thing. I'm going to see about, like I said, I'm going as a journalist and trying to cover this. I'm going to see about, Tara and I had been talking about this earlier. When I say earlier, probably a few weeks ago at this point now, about how this year I was going to try to see about doing things a little bit more professionally. And if I could get passes, I'm saying, if anyone wants to come with, I went to the one that they had 20 years ago, which is depressing to say, but I went to that one 20 years ago when the riots broke out. I promise now I will not accidentally instigate a riot at this one. I still feel really bad about the last one.
No, he'll just purposely do it.
That would be what I would do. I would get bored and probably do that.
Yeah. You know what was fucked up? I was reading the article I posted in my server earlier, and it made my heart sink. Because I'm reading the thing, and they're talking about how the ghost of the 120 years ago of the Woodstock 99 still haunts Woodstock, and how it was. And I'm sitting there like just hanging my head like, wow, I feel so bad. Like, you know, to be fair, how the fuck was I supposed to know? Just mentioning to these hippies that all this shit was flammable, that they were going to start a humongous bonfire out of trash. I figured they'd have some modicum of common sense. Like, I even said in mid-sentence when I'm saying to them, when they're like, oh man, the fire's going low, we're out of fuel. I said, what are you talking about? Look around you at all the garbage cans. I said, more than 2/3 of this shit is definitely flammable. And that's all I had to say. And next thing you know, Woodstock burned down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We admit it, you just didn't like the entertainment.
No, the entertainment was actually pretty good. I enjoyed the hell out of it. That's the thing. You know, I just turned 20. My fraternity was actually running security up there because I had went to Utica before Woodstock. Like that's, you know, I was in there that semester right before I went up to Woodstock. And it's funny because, you know, a lot of people on here, they call me a conservative and everything. I had the full experience there. I wasn't running around balls naked, mind you. I'm too big. I would have looked like a Yeti. But I went there and I had a 2-person tent, and it was me and 7 hippies sleeping in it.
Nope, just me and Burnside.
I'd be sleeping in a damn tree, if anything.
Well, I was friends with all these hippies, so I didn't mind.
I promise, anyone that pisses on my tent will get tased.
No, just wire a battery to the tent stake, and that'll take care of it.
You know, you guys got to realize a lot of people don't remember. Back in '99, Clinton was still president, so the hippies' mask didn't come off yet. No one knew that they weren't just the cuddly stoners. You know, you didn't know that these people were secretly going to one day try to overthrow the fucking country. You know, that's the thing that threw me for a fucking loop. Like when 2016, when the elections were going on, and how vitriolic all these people I hung out with started to become. And I was looking around at them like, granted, I was not even seeing these people that much anymore in public. It was mostly I would see it on like Facebook, you know, and I see the shit that they were posting, and I'm like, but your uncle works for the Trump organization. He's a plumber. You know, I'm thinking things like this. And what it was is all of my friends who, like, I went to college. I'm the only member of my family actually with a high school diploma and who went to college. Everyone just dropped out and went to work or enlisted. Or both usually. I was the only one who stayed in school and went to college. And the friends of mine that I was friendly with who also were intellectuals and academics who went into professional white-collar industries and went to college, those are all the ones that they hated Trump all of a sudden. And everyone else, though, all the people I knew who worked for a living, were all for the man. And it blew my mind because, you know, a lot of these, like I said, a lot of these white-collar people, they were, you know, hippie-ish when I was younger. I just couldn't believe, how the hell could you go from like, all you need is love to fuck Trump, you know? Mind-blowing.
Not really.
It was for me.
Well, I mean, when you smoke that much, it's not hard to do a complete reversal.
Yeah, you kind of forget who you are.
I guess. I mean, I think what a lot of it was is a lot of these guys gave up smoking pot and they became, they went from being hippies to being yuppies.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
It's sad, really. I mean, like, this is the thing. Like, I was a member of PETA until they started when I say going after the kids, they were specifically targeting the children to scare the children, like to guilt the parents. And I'm like, no, you don't go after the kids. That's going to psychologically fuck them up. So I, said, okay, fuck you to PETA. And then, like, Greenpeace, they were all of a sudden getting all, like, militaristic and tyrannical and shit. And I said, well, you guys are like, the fucking Black Panthers accepting Zodiac rafts. What the hell's the matter with you? So, like, I walked away from Greenpeace. Like, that's the thing. I walked away, like, this hashtag walk away shit, I walked away from a lot of this leftist shit back in, like, the early 2000s. Like, when they first started going off the rails. I didn't have to wait for, like, other people to speak up. I noticed it myself. And I was when Gore was running for president against Bush, I was working at the time for the EPA. I was in college, and it was one of those stupid jobs where they give you the ridiculous green T-shirt and the clipboard, and you go and you knock on the door, ask them if they want to make a donation to the EPA. You ask them if they've seen a movie called, oh God, what was Gore's fucking climate change movie? You know what I'm talking about? An Inconvenient Truth. I was going to the door for the EPA and asking people if they wanted to make a donation and recommending to them if they hadn't seen it, An Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore, who was running for president, and would they be interested in voting for Al Gore? That was what my shtick was. And yeah, and this was the thing. I was probably I don't think I would. I don't want to say I'd be like a leftist or an SJW, but I've always been progressive. Always. I've always been a progressive liberal conservative. That's just, there's progressive liberals and there's liberal conservatives. I just mix the two because science marches on, and I don't care who you want to sleep with. Everyone's allowed to be miserable so you can get married. That's the way I look at it. And I'm really loose and easy on shit like that. But the thing that made me really super, super patriotic more than I already was, because I come from a military family, was I've said this before, this neighborhood lost a lot of people on 9/11. And I was 21 years old when that happened. And it really just completely changed our entire world. You got to realize, when I talk about this on air, a lot of people, they say, oh, well, it affected me too. I remember when I was watching and this, that, and the third, and I tell people two things. One, I actually watched the buildings drop. I didn't see it on the TV. And two, I actually lost people in those things. Like, there are people I know that are, gone, that got killed in there. Like, no, personally. I don't mean, like, just people I knew from the neighborhood. I mean, there's dozens of people I knew. But I mean, like, people I was, like, friends with, where I'd see him at the bar, like, hey, Mark, how you doing? And now Mark's not there no more, And that's basically what kept me from becoming a leftist. Is you actually can thank Green Day for making me really patriotic, because, I'm still sitting there mourning and grieving people who are dead. And these bunch of black-shirted, red tie, and fucking nail polish wearing fruits decide they're going to sit there and make a song called American Idiot. And I used to go see them in concert, too.
I was exactly thinking of that specific song when you started saying that. American Idiot.
You know what it was? Because we still had the funerals going on here. And these Cali commies decide they're going to sit there and virtue signal about how bad Bush is and this, that, and the third. And the thing was, I got really, really mad about, like, this is what made me hate the fucking left. Like, I already had a disdain for them, but when they went after Bush because of what happened down in New Orleans when the hurricane hit down there, Katrina, and they went all third world and they were blaming the president. You can blame Bush as much as you want, but this is the whole problem: was the system itself was a clusterfuck. And I'm not making an excuse for Bush, but you can't blame Bush for this because this is something from the top down, soup to nuts. The man is not a fucking swami. He doesn't know that this system is broke until he says to his people, "Well, what's our response situation like?" And they go, "Sir, we have a problem." Well, what do you mean we have a problem? There is no response situation in place. That was the thing, that there was no infrastructure response put in place for a disaster of this magnitude. That was the fuck up, that the government, dropped the ball. If you want to put somebody's head on the chopping block, you might as well put the entire Capitol Hill building, on the guillotine for that one, because that was a fuck up across the board. I don't know. That's just my thinking of it. Like, I blame everybody. I don't know. I mean, you blame one politician, that's never going to solve anything. You gotta blame everyone involved.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just blame one person and expect it to get fixed. You got to blame everyone involved with it.
Yeah. Like right now, I blame all the country's problems on Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. I can split the blame.
I got a story for you. When I first moved down here to this state that I'm in now.
Mm-hmm. I'm here.
I went to a restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's called Steak and Shake. It's fairly famous. And since I was in Kentucky, you know what Kentucky's initials are, right?
Yeah.
KY.
Water State.
Yeah, KY. And so I went into this restaurant and asked if they had any of that Kentucky jelly.
Nice. I definitely want to check out Kentucky, believe it or not. I know. I told that to Pox, and he's like, "Why do you want to check out my state?" And I told him, I'm like, well, because of the history, it's a commonwealth, and also because it's a border state, and it went over to the Confederacy only due to certain extenuating circumstances. It was basically because of the fact that the legislation in the state was taken hostage, and it was a whole big deal.
I can show you a building where they still have the cannonballs stuck in the buildings.
Yeah. And I told this to Pox, and his first response was, "Yankee some bitch."
I'm from Michigan, so I'm a transplant, so that don't bother me. I just know this place is boring as fuck.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't call you a Yankee asshole.
Pox doesn't know where I live.
I was commenting that to Scoob.
Yeah, Pox was saying it to me about
Sorry,
that.
Wolfie.
I guess it's boring. Yeah, maybe because you live there, it's boring to you at this point. But I guess you know what it is. You even said it yourself, man. You're from the city originally, so you know how it is when you're a city boy and the first time you get out to the country.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, like the guys upstate, they could not get over how I was like acting like a little kid when I first seen cows. And they're like, "Scoob, why are you?"
Scoob, you are a little kid.
Thank you. Appreciate that. At least
I candy shop.
Little kid.
Huh?
You need to get you a blanket and a binky.
It's a no-shake. What'd you say, Tara?
But damn, he's mighty big for a little kid.
I don't know. You're the one that pushed him out.
In what phrase I mean?
Oh, God.
So I don't know, Terry. You're the one that pushed him out.
No, the fuck I didn't. The stork brought him and left him here.
Yep.
I can go to every bird I've seen since.
Speaking of the stork, I'm showing my age because they don't show it anymore, but I was fortunate enough. I think I got a chance before he left the net. I got to show it to the bartender, and he was taken aback. I think I showed it to Dick Daddy Foster, too. But do you guys remember the drunk stork that they used to have on Looney Tunes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. I love that stork. Oh, that was probably my favorite character. Like, I showed my nephew, I'm like, "Come here, I want to show you one of them banned cartoons you're not allowed to watch." He's like, "Okay," and I went and watched it. He's like, "Why the fuck is the stork pickled?" I told him, I'm like, because they show in the cartoon he's toasting with all the parents because he brought them their baby. I said by the time he leaves the last house, he's completely verschnicked. So he has like the one last delivery and he fucks it up. That's the whole point of the cartoon.
Yeah. And then there's another banned cartoon with Daffy Duck.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically he's harassing the Nazis.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, I love that one.
I would show my nephews all of the old cartoons, and he said, "No wonder your whole generation is so fucked up. This is the stuff that you guys grew up watching."
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's a very bad habit I have, and Tara can attest to this. Like it makes people uncomfortable. I have a problem where I guess it's from growing up with all those old cartoons. I find violence funny.
Yeah, I find it funny too.
Yeah.
Frankly, slapstick comedy isn't what it used to be.
Comedy isn't what it used to be.
I went with an ex of mine to watch Jason versus Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was laughing at the death scenes. Well, first of all, one girl asked if she could sit next to me because my girlfriend was on the other side. I said, yeah. They don't bite because we brought friends with us, and I got my rabies shots. and so they sat down, and I started laughing at the death scene, and the girl sitting next to me goes, "You're sick." I'm like, "Thank you."
Yeah, thank you.
Face shoved into the liquid nitrogen.
That's Jason X.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Jason X on the space station.
I fucking love that scene.
I know,
knew
right?
exactly what was gonna fucking happen. As soon as I saw she had liquid nitrogen, I was like, oh, she's fucked.
Yeah. What was I went with my brother. The two movies I remember seeing in the theater with him. And just to give you guys an idea how my brother used to dress when we would go out in public, he would wear these things. You see a lot of like jocks wearing them. The term I've always heard them referred to was like crazy pants. They look like pajama pants, but you wear them to play football, and it'll say like they'll be red pants, and it'll say like Bills all over them, or they'll be blue and they'll say Giants all over them. Yeah. My brother was a Jets fan, so his were green and it's the Jets all over him. So he would wear this. It was like his trademark outfit to go out to the movies. I guess he wanted to frighten people. So he'd be wearing his Jets crazy pants, and he'd be wearing this red shirt with the yellow. It was a skeletal, though. It was skeletal. It was the globe, the anchor, and the eagle, and it said USMC, and underneath it was supposed to be in blood. It said Uncle Sam's Misguided Children, and he had on his recon jacket. He was a sick weirdo. I think I told you about him. He had I think my brother had something like 36 different tattoos from when he was overseas. He did a lot of like, I guess, black bag shit in the 80s and the early 90s because he was in under Reagan, and he got discharged under Bush 1. So he was a bit of a sicko. So we went in, and the two movies I went to see with him that I remember vividly about how we were howling with laughter, and looking back on it now, no wonder everyone in the audience was like nervous. The first one was Natural Born Killers, and he was having a ball watching that. And the other one was we went to go see, and I think we went into, I want to say we were in Queens when we went to see it because it was one of the theaters that was playing. We went to go see Dead Presidents. And now you got to understand, like, I showed Tara and I showed Sarah a picture of what my brother looks like. My brother kind of looks a little bit like Robert De Niro. Mm-hmm. But he's big, though. He's a big guy, and he's covered with ink, and he's psychotic. And he doesn't have the turquoise eyes like me. My brother's eyes are like bright hazel because he's my half brother. He's 100% Sicilian. So we go to see Dead Presidents, and the whole theater is black except for us. And he's sitting here laughing his balls off at all the different like scenes that are going on. Like the one scene he's sitting there and he's like cheering when the friggin' guy. I forget the actor's name, but when he cuts off the Vietnamese guy's head and he starts walking around with it in his bag, we wound up having the two seats in front of us, the two seats back behind us, and the two seats next to us vacated because my brother was like making him like uncomfortable because he's sitting there laughing, and you could still smoke in theaters back then. So this crazy bastard actually started smoking angel dust.
Oh no!
Like, you know that smell. Like, I mean, everyone in the audience knew what the fuck the smell was. You all of a sudden you smell what it smells like. Mint. It is mint. What it is, for those of you that don't know, they take mint leaves and they spray formaldehyde on it and a few other additives, and that's how you get angel dust. The mint leaves wither and absorb the chemicals, and they dry out, and the chemicals crystallize, and that's why it's called angel dust. And you wrap that up and you smoke it. And so I'm pretty sure what it was is he was only smoking a cigarette, but I think he had a dust joint in the pack. And it stunk to high heavens like dust when he was smoking this fucking thing. Oh, man. God, I really miss that, going to the movies with him like that and just having a grand old time. But, yeah, that actually affected me between Looney Tunes and things like that. Like, later on in life, I'd be around her Democrat family, and they'd all, like, give me this icy look because you'd see somebody get, like, their head blown off in a movie, and I start laughing. And they all look at me like, and they said it to her after I left the room. He's not normal. We don't know why you're with him. He seems violent.
Oh, just really fucked up.
Yeah, yes, I am, and I admit it freely. Like, I think I told you this about that joke my father said to me when he was. My father, he poured concrete with the cement mixer, and they were putting a bank in. I think it was either in Plainview, Manhasset, or Merrick, and those are three really, really, oh my God, those neighborhoods are Jewish neighborhoods, and
I can see where this is going.
So they're at the pour for the bank, and they're putting this thing up, and this guy walks up to them, and it's a little old man. He goes to my father, he goes, "Hey, mister, what are they putting up here?" He goes, my father looks at him and goes, "Excuse me?" He says, "What are they building here?" So my father looks at him and goes, "Oh, we're putting up a church." So the guy's eyes get huge, and he goes, "A church?" And he goes, "Yeah, can't you see the pillars? We're putting up a cathedral." The guy goes like this, "Like of all shit, I'm telling my wife we're moving out of here already. I want to go back to Israel. This is ridiculous, these people." Well, the synagogue sent up a rabbi because this guy got his whole parish or whatever they call it up in arms.
Oh, man.
Yeah. The old man was a troll before there was even an internet. Oh, God. Yeah. That's the thing. I grew up with somebody like that, with that sort of a sixth sense of humor. I think I told you, like, I had that friend a few years ago.
Sounds healthy to me.
Yeah. I told you, it was like, I think 2 or 3 summers ago, a friend of mine, he was working on his house. So he was going to, I think actually, no, let me see. We're in 2013, so it was probably, 2017, about 2 years ago, right after Trump got elected and he really beefed up ICE. A buddy of mine was working on his house. This is fucked up. I don't condone this, and I don't mean to laugh, but it's one of those things where you laugh because it's just fucked up. He was going to like the different Home Depots and Lowe's, and he was hiring groups of Mexicans or El Salvadorians or whoever these people were. And he was making a deal with them. Okay, you guys work at the house from 9 till 5, and I'll pay you the whole day, and I'll pay you guys good. So he'd get them there, and he'd let them work, and while they were all having lunch, he'd make the call to ICE, and come 3 o'clock, the trucks would come and round everybody up, and he didn't pay them.
Oh, that's fucked up.
It is. It's really fucked up. He told me he did that. I'm like, how long did you do this for? He's like, about 6 weeks. He went to every Home Depot and Lowe's on Long Island. He went to the ones in Queens, Brooklyn. He went wherever. He just kept, because there's so many locations. If you pull up Long Island, all 4 counties, if you pull it up on a map and you type in Lowe's or you type in Home Depot, you're going to see dozens of stores.
Oh, that is horrible. But
It really is.
at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Because what had happened was I felt guilty. I'm like, what the hell possessed you to do this? He's like, you don't remember? I said, no, what? He's like, MySpace. I was drawing a blank. I go, what? He's like, do you remember you sent me that video about 10 years ago. I go, you going off of 10 years? He said, yeah, about 10 years ago, maybe more, on MySpace, you sent me a video from that guy, that Jewish guy, the American racist, where he goes and he picks up all the workers at Home Depot and then goes and drives through the immigration office, like honking a horn and whistling on a whistle. And they all go jumping out of pickup and running in all directions. I go, yeah. He's like, well, I just took that idea and ran with it.
Oh my God.
I told him, I said, there is no way you're laying this on me. He's like, well, you sent me that video. I'm like, I didn't tell you to try to fucking make a cottage industry out of it, like going and ripping off like the entire Latino community. What the fuck is the matter with you? Without even missing a beat. He goes, hey, Scoop, look, I happen to be Puerto Rican. All right? The way I look at it is they're not coming here. My family came here legally. They can come here legally. I look at him, I go, asshole. Puerto Rico's a commonwealth. You're already a citizen. You didn't have to come here. He's like, you're mixing words. It's just, you just didn't want to pay for anything, you prick. I said, the fact that you look like them a little bit, I said, it assuages your guilt because you're not being racist. It's not like you're doing it to them because they're different than you. I said, you're unbelievable. I said, at least if you were fucking Scandinavian or something, I could sit here and say you're racist bastard. No, this is just because you're greedy and you're a bastard. You did this to these poor guys. Gonna lay it on my feet. The hell out of here. I still can't believe you did that. That's so fucked up.
Scoob, I'm stealing that story for the bar tomorrow.
Go right ahead, bro. Definitely. Show him this video. Even better. Definitely. With my blessing.
That is so fucked up. It's so funny.
Oh, yeah. I got a buddy of mine I sent this link to. He's going to hit me up after the show. He's going to be like, who the hell are you talking about? And I'm going to tell him. He's going to be like, you're fucking kidding me. I'm like, no, you remember that he moved out east? He goes, yeah, that's what he did. How the hell do you think he was able to afford that barbecue and all that shit he's got out in that house? He didn't have to pay any of his workers. He kept sending them all back to Honduras on the bullet train. It's fucked up, but yeah, I can't argue with his results.
Yeah,
his house is beautiful.
Speak for them. The results speak for themselves.
It's so horrible to say, but you know what? Look, as the grandchild of an illegal, let me just say, I hope that we can fix the system. I really, I want the wall, but I want the system fixed also. Just seriously, it's been the same nonsense that Ted Kennedy screwed up back in, I think, 1964 when he put that shit into effect. And they did, oh, yeah, we're going to fix it. And was it 55 years later? We're still sitting here like, when are we fixing this? So, yeah, let's just hope, he gets his wall and we can fix immigration. Because seriously, as somebody who lives right by where they chopped up those poor little kids, and left them in that park, I don't want to see that in their community, man. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was a kid in my community, after they whacked Big Paulie, may he rest in peace, and they just were tearing each other apart with the shootings. We were afraid to go visit my aunts because my father said, because in that part of the neighborhood, I mean, that was a part of the neighborhood where these wise guys were whacking each other. You guys know what I'm talking about in the 80s with John Gotti, with the wars that they had going on in the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that very clearly from when I was a kid. I mean, I don't mean to say it and sound snide. The rest of you get to watch it on the television. I was sitting there terrified in the car that, we were going to get caught in a crossfire. My father pitched short. Don't worry, it's not like those animals uptown. They're not going to shoot randomly. Okay, that's nice. But I remember it very clearly when I was a kid. And it fucks up your head, when things like that go down. But I don't want these El Salvadorians to have to deal with that in the neighborhood. They should not have to deal with that, That's why we got to do the screening. And look, I'm sorry, there's a lot of people who came here illegally that are good people. And they'll tell you, the system, I've been trying for years to become a citizen. Okay, then show it. Show the proof. That way, when we sit here and reform the system, you get kicked up further on the line. That way you can become a citizen. That's the way I look at it.
Speaking of government changing things, my roommate went and filed her taxes today.
Hmm.
And they have added in what CPS has been trying to get added in for fucking years. to where you have to prove you actually have custody of the child.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing because there's people.
It's a good thing because, you know, the person actually has to prove it. It's a bad thing because some people don't always know everything about their child.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, you have people that are claiming that they're raising this kid so they can get more money back, and then they split it with the parents.
Yeah.
And the child's not even living with them.
Well, I hate saying it. This is the reason we have police officers in courts.
So one of the questions is, you know, does your child live with you? Put down yes. It wants, you know, well, where is little Johnny when you're at work? You have to put down specifically which school and daycare they go to. Do you receive food stamps for little Johnny? Yes or no.
Really get into your pots and pans, huh?
If you say yes, they want you to print out your food stamp information and then submit it. You know, they want the birth certificate, they want the social security number for the child. So you have to bring everything, and it's getting really, really detailed. And again, she blames Trump, and I was like, well, really, this is, you know, the government's CPS. They've been trying to get this fucking passed for years. And she's like, I know, and Trump signed it in. And I was like, well, okay, there's a good thing he's done. As far as I'm concerned. Because when I was a kid, my daddy tried to claim me, and, you know, my mom had custody of me. My roommate's sperm donor, he tried to claim, last year tried to claim the boy, and, you know, she never got her tax return because the government's like, oh, well, he claimed him, you know, we can't prove that he doesn't have him. So finally this stuff is in. And you also have to prove that you're head of household.
Yeah, that's so basically they adopted New York stipulations.
I guess all I know is they've restructured it into a more, well, structured format.
Yeah, you just read off like almost verbatim what I have to go through if I try to get any government aid. I have to sign. You have to let them know if you own anything that can be liquidated. They expect you. New York State expects you to pawn things for money.
And so does Florida.
Yeah, they expect you to pawn things for money. You're not supposed to own anything because if you're really that hard up, you know, then you'll get rid of it so you're not hard up anymore. That's how they look at things. So, like, if you have any...
A caseworker asked me, you know, is there anything you could sell to, you know... I flat out told her, I was like, if you know of anyone that wants to buy a uterus and ovaries, you let me know.
I'm sorry,
like,
Tara.
okay, so yeah, you don't own anything.
I did once, actually, this woman, she was really nasty to me, and I fucked myself over because, you know, like we argued, and basically I said the whole "it's my word against yours" thing to her, but she said, well, do you have anything you could do for extra money? I said, well, I could always do the whole gigolo thing. I said, but I don't think anyone could afford 6 figures an hour. Yeah, she didn't like that. Oh, man. But I did actually put the title up on the stream about the thing with Jim Acosta. I wanted to ask you guys, did you see what that idiot did?
No, I did not.
Oh.
How many times do I have to say it? I don't watch the fucking news. It's depressing.
I haven't been watching the news, but when I got up this morning and I looked on YouTube, and when I say everybody cut a video about this, I mean everybody cut a video about this. And I'm like, okay.
I know Mark Dice did. He always does.
And I look at the first one I'm looking at, and what it was is Jim Acosta goes with his phone, and he actually proved President Trump right with the video that this idiot shot. They've been having a field day with it on Twitter. They've been having a field day with it on the mainstream media. Jim Acosta basically, that's why I asked Terry to title the stream, The Wall That Acosta Built, because he basically just proved the president's case on national TV. He's sitting there and he's filming the section of the wall where it's built, and he's saying, as you can see, there's no migrants here. There's nowhere to be seen. They're not rushing at the wall. They're not trying to climb over it. And everyone's like, yeah, you're proving that it works. They're all at the spots where there isn't a wall.
It's because they haven't been forced to actually deal with it. Hell, one of the smart ones is probably drawing up a plan to deal with it right now.
But the best part of it is he shows where the wall ends and there's just a chain link fence. And he's like, oh, yeah, this is what we had up here prior. And then the icing on the cake was they go to try to save what Acosta did. CNN turns around and goes, they hit up this station, I guess, to see. They asked them if the wall was working by them in San Diego. And they had nothing but positive, glowing reviews. So CNN declined to put their shit on the air. So that this local station went on the air and lambasted CNN all day.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. Bro, I know that you're not a Trump
There's more
fan
to
either.
it, too.
Yeah.
I think it was Jim Acosta who goes back and says that there's tunnels underneath the wall. Thing is that they have to dig the tunnels far enough out that you can't see from the wall, and the exit into across the border has to be far enough out that you still can't see it. And it's like at least 2,000 feet of tunnel.
Well, yeah, I was watching the video with the federales, and the lady was explaining to Trump. He's like, she's like, yeah, they've built tunnels and shit like that, and there literally are tunnels that they have built.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, there's a will, there's a way. They're going to find a way around it, over it, under it.
Oh,
It don't matter.
Well, the main reason for the wall being there, and I've argued this with the leftists, because they start trying to bring up with me all the different ways to go around it and under it and this and that. I said, well, yeah. I said, nothing is 100%.
But slow them down.
Yes. Well, I said all it is the wall is just that. It's just a wall. It's a static defense. When they come under it with the tunnels, that's why you have seismic sensors. When they're going to be going over.
Well, I mean, seismic sensors can be countered with paneling.
There's all sorts of things that they can do and that we can counter also. That's the beauty of it. You think about it, this is actually going to start an entire industry that's going to employ Americans, is just the counter measures for people who are trying to go around the wall. There are people that this is going to now be, thousands of Americans are going to have a job just monitoring this damn wall. And
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and the beauty of this is, I agree with what Razorfish said. You know, look, these guys, they need this wall put up there because basically now Mexico can finally. It's been 109 years since their revolution failed. It's been a century and change that poor country has been suffering. This wall is going to be a godsend to them because the citizenry will finally be able to. They're not going to be able to flee to America to a better life. They're going to have no choice but to fix Mexico. And this is one of these things. I'm hoping if they fix Mexico, because I've talked to plenty of Cubans and they all said the same thing. They hope that it happens in their lifetime, that Cuba can be returned to what it was when they were a child so they can return home. You got a lot of people here that are here in America who are Mexican, and they'll talk to you and they'll frankly say, well, yeah, I like it here, but I wish my home was like this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I look at it this way. Maybe, just by the time I'm a senior citizen, God willing, you're going to have stories on the news about families that are uprooting from here and moving back to Mexico or moving back to whatever country they're from down in Central America because the situation has improved. You know? Like, My mother always told me the one thing her father always said was, you know, he wished he could have died on Irish soil. You know,
Oh,
like
shit. I
yeah.
have to scram or I'm going to be in major shit. So I will catch y'all later.
Bye.
Give my best to the wife, bro.
Peace.
Yep, be good. Wolfie, how's your finger feeling, man?
Wolfie, still with us?
I think he died. Either that or he's licking his ass.
Or he might be resting his eyes. He might be sleeping.
I think we bored him to sleep. Well, all I know is I've been. Yeah, oh yeah, we're down to the 4-minute warning. You guys got anything to show?
Not really.
No.
Still got to get with 6.
All right,
I'm waiting for this fucking AC.
Nope, got nothing to show.
All right, Sarah, you got anything?
No.
All right, that was quick. Wolfie, you awake yet? All right. Hopefully he wakes up eventually. I do actually want to talk to him about a few things. Let me think. What do I got coming up? I will hopefully this week coming finally have enough free time to breathe where I can try to get some content uploaded. I haven't really shot anything yet, just in the past couple weeks, actually, because what with the holidays and everything, and then we've had this cold snap here, and I just really haven't gotten a chance to. Yeah, I'm gonna have content coming out, like I said, the next, hopefully before Groundhog's Day, and I'll just keep you guys posted. Let me think. Was there anything really severe going on? No, I can't think of anything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have anything that to talk about on hand right now. But for those of you guys who are watching, you know the deal. This is my YouTube channel. You can follow me here. I'm on minds.com, GabAI. I have a Patreon and a PayPal. If you are feeling generous, even if it's $1, please throw it into the PayPal because I use that towards getting equipment so I can put up videos. And I have an Instagram. Eventually, I'll figure out how to use it. I was looking at the thing earlier. I am not into putting up pictures, so I'm probably not going to use it for anything. But
that means you're not going to get any dick pics.
He's alive.
He's with us. Yes.
He stopped licking his ass.
Awesome. You got anything to show, bro?
Obviously, you guys know the video I did. Since I can't stream, I've been streaming video games on Twitch, and I actually made more money on Twitch than I did on YouTube.
Well, there you go. That's actually part of my goal now is to get a gaming system so I can start gaming with all of you because I don't talk to anybody anymore. I'm like, where the hell is everybody? They're all playing fucking video games. So I feel left out. I'm going to have to start gaming just to talk to people again. Because I'll get hit up by somebody who'll be like, yeah, all right, I'll hit you back in a minute. And then like 3-4 days later, I'm like, what happened? And I look and they're like, oh, yeah, man, I was playing Sid Meier's Civilization for the past week. Okay. Whatever. But I'm sure your wife must love that. Oh, I haven't seen her in 2 weeks. She's been on vacation. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I broke my finger at work. So it wasn't because of brokenheartedness. It was broken at work because of an asshole coworker.
Oh, that sucks. You at least going to get comp?
I thought it was smashed, so it was too late when I finally went and got checked out.
That sucks. I'm sorry, man. I've been going through the mix with them for like 10 years now. Hopefully, I'll be able to get everything ironed out because New York State actually issued me a card that says I'm disabled, and the whole thing that comp has been saying is New York State claims I'm not disabled. So now I get to go in and say, this card that was given to me by the supervisor of the entire county says I'm disabled. So you got a counter for that? You gonna whip out something from Cuomo? Come on, let's see what you got.
I think Como just has it out for you.
Hey, this is the definition of vendetta. Exactly. He's Sicilian, I'm Sicilian. Both of our families are from Corleone. That's exactly what this is. This is a blood feud. Ah, fuck him. He's just jealous because, you know, I'm here on YouTube with you guys, and he looks like a shaved orangutan. That's the governor's problem. So, Tara, do you think you could drive a stake through this thing's hard for me now? Because I'm shot. I don't want to do this no more.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, all. Take care. Thank